Hey everybody, John from Proverbs 27:9 Fragrances here. Today we're going to be doing another unboxing and first impression on one of these three classic fragrances. We got Elizabeth Taylor Passion for Men, Karl Lagerfeld Classic, and Calvin Klein Escape. So we'll get started in just a minute when we got some folks logged on here. But looking forward to it. This worked out much better on the last live stream, so hopefully it'll work out real good again. Like I said, if you're watching this later on, you can skip ahead to where the review starts, but right now I'm live, so just kind of waiting on some folks to get live. And I'm gonna let y'all pick which one of these you want me to unbox and give you my first impression thoughts of. Still waiting on some folks to get on here. Make sure I got the chat pulled up and everything. So give it a few more minutes, but what I'm going to do is first person to comment on one of these three fragrances is the one that I'm going to go with. I could just put up a little, a banner that says live stream will begin in, 5 minutes or something like that, but not that far advanced, so I'm just kind of hanging out and waiting on some folks to get logged on with me here. So all right, got 6 folks logged on, so we'll go ahead and start the live stream here. So I've got 3 classic fragrances. Elizabeth Taylor's Passion for Men, Karl Lagerfeld Classic, and Calvin Klein Escape. So what I want to do is first person to mention whichever fragrance you want me to unbox, that's what I'm going to do. So we got 21 people watching. Here's the 3 fragrances. Escape. I don't know what language your name is in, so I can't say, but Escape in the comments was the first one mentioned. So, hey Timothy. So this is the one we're going to be doing today. You rather me not what? Try to attempt to say your name? Yeah. All right. I appreciate you watching, appreciate you commenting. So we'll do these 2 in another video, probably tomorrow. So probably be around the same time. We'll do it the same way. Tomorrow we'll let you pick between these 2. But today we're going to be doing unboxing and first impression on Calvin Klein Escape for Men. So you see it's still in the cellophane here. We'll take it up. We'll open it up. We'll look at the packaging for just a moment. The box, the bottle, and then we'll get our first impression on the fragrance. So the box, just cardboard box. It's got a little bit of a kind of a yellowish cream color to it. You've seen this style box a lot of times here. Got the little French cuff. And then here is the bottle for Escape. And sorry it's backwards. I hate that. I'm going to try to figure out how to use it, but I kind of want to be able to see my screen. Next time I may just turn around because I've got the laptop pulled up, but I like the bottle. It's a round bottle, kind of a tall. This is a 3.3 100 ml cap. Again, there's nothing on the cap, but it's a solid plastic filled cap. It's got some marking. No marking down in there. It's very light. It does not click into place, but it's pretty snug. You've got that high collar. It doesn't twist off. And then let's give it a couple of sprays. And then we'll get one on the couple on the hand. The atomizer is not very good, but let's get a whiff here. Okay. This smells good. So I'm not familiar with this fragrance. It's the first time I've ever smelled it. This is an early 90s fragrance, best I can remember. And that's what it smells like. Off the top of my head, it smells like Tommy Hilfiger for men, kind of. Now, I haven't smelled that fragrance in a long time, but that's the vibe it's giving me. It's giving me that early 90s. And I would say that this is kind of an aquatic, a woody aquatic. Timothy said he wore this fragrance in the late 90s. What do you remember about it, Tim? Does it kind of remind you of Tommy Hilfiger? That's kind of the vibe it's giving me. So there's in the opening, there's some citruses. It's not as heavy a citrus as current fragrances are. The current fragrances are really, you're either going to be really sweet with like that bubblegum sugary scent profile like Invictus or like 1 Million, that kind of, or you're going to be really bright citrusy like Eros Energy and Aventus and all those style fragrances. Timothy said easy wearing. I actually had that and Tommy at the same time. So again, I don't have a bottle of Tommy. I've never owned Tommy Hilfiger. All of my friends had it. Back in the day, I was wearing, in the 90s, let's see, mid 90s, I was wearing either Cool Water or probably Aspen by Coty, which was their version of Cool Water. Then I got a bottle of Hugo Boss, and it kind of reminds me a little bit of the Hugo Boss fragrance that I had. It was the first one that come out with the screw-on canteen lid. I was wearing that back then, but a lot of my friends had Tommy Hilfiger, and maybe I might have had a bottle at one point in time. Temper 209, he said the current scent he's wearing is Platinum Egoist by Chanel. Had a few bottles of the Eternity, one small 30 ml of Tommy by Tommy Hilfiger. Have you ever had Escape? This is Escape. I don't think this reminds me of Eternity by Calvin Klein. Timothy said my mom bought me Tommy when I turned 14 or 15. Would have been 95 to 96. Yeah, looks like we're about the same age, Timothy. I was born in 80, so I would have been 15 or 16. I'm probably a year or so older than you. But yeah, that's what I was wearing back then. I was wearing Coty by Aspen by Coty, and I was wearing Cool Water some. I've talked on some other videos. We'd go to the mall and we'd douse ourselves in Cool Water, from the tester bottles at Dillard's or whatever. And my friends had some Tommy and things of that nature, and I would steal sprays from them. My dad was a perfume salesman, but he sold some brand of, kind of knockoffs. And so I always had some, weird labeled, like there was a Polo, you know, inspired by fragrance, and some of those. And then we always had some Brood and some Old Spice and some Stetson and those things. I remember preferred stock was, I believe, a Stetson thing. But Temper 209 said never had Escape, but he was scrolling, come across the review live. My Blind Buy Escape. Speaking of age, I'm probably the youngest here, 25, 26. That's awesome, Temper. Do you like the kind of what would be considered definitely classic fragrances to someone who's 25 or 26, mid, early 90s? I'm in that age frame where I still am in denial about the 90s being that long ago, but it definitely was. If you're into that era of fragrances, like, Tommy and Hugo Boss, I can't remember the name of it. I think it was just For Him. It was the canteen style. Nautica Sail, or not, the blue bottle Nautica, that was another one I had back then. If you like Calvin Klein Eternity, if you like those fragrances, this probably would be an easy blind buy because there's nothing in it that's off-putting or funky or anything like that. It's not too overbearing. It smells like it would be an easy reach. So you had a bottle of Issey Miyake L'Eau d'Issey as well. I love that fragrance. This is a little greener than L'Eau d'Issey, but it's in that same wheelhouse. Where L'Eau d'Issey, though, is more citrus florals, with light on the woods, and it's an aquatic. I would say this one leans a little more green. There's a slight greenness to it, and this one's a little more woody than L'Eau d'Issey. But they're definitely similar, and they're definitely in the same wheelhouse. This is Calvin Klein Escape. Calvin Klein Escape. So, yeah. So again, I'm just going to give it one more spray. Very not overly sweet. There's enough sweet from the citruses. There's a little bit of a floral aspect there, but this is more citrus aquatic with kind of green, woody, little bit musky. Slightly dated compared again to what's out there now, but nothing as like overbearingly dated as like the late 70s, early 80s fragrances. Like, probably what I'm guessing this one is going to be smelling like, again, I don't know, but just by hearing some reviews of it. So mid 90s, I think it's still wearable today. Yi said the only CK fragrance he loves is Eternity. Okay, that's cool. Have you smelled CK Shock? Yi, that's a really good one. That's a good cold weather. It's like tobacco and like spices. It's kind of got a Christmas vibe. That's a good one. CK Shock. I like several from the Eternity line. They've got some like Aqua that's good. This is a good fragrance. I like this. Calvin Klein. Of course, CK1 is a good, very similar to L'Eau d'Issey that Temper was talking about a while ago. One of the first truly unisex fragrances that was actually marketed unisex, CK1. They just put out one fragrance, and it was supposed to be for everybody. L'Eau d'Issey was very much, I felt, a very unisex fragrance. In fact, I've said before that I feel like it leans a little feminine. But this is not unisex. This is definitely masculine leaning. I guess anybody can wear, anything that they want to, but this is Escape for men. And it's supposed to give you the idea of being on a vacation, an escape, you know, supposed to give you those kind of semi-oceany vibes, but yet still not like too overly aquatic. Timothy said, he unrelated, but just received a sample of Penhaligon's Opus 1870. And in my opinion, it is great and reminds me of a 90s style fragrance, relatively inexpensive at discounters. So I've never smelled that one. Penhaligon's, the only one from them that I have had is a tragedy of, I think it's Tragedy of St. George. It's the one with the deer head with the antlers, I believe. But I had a sample. I've been wanting to get some Penhaligon fragrances. How Fetty is one that's always interested me. I like barbershop style fragrances. So I'll look up Opus 1870 and see what you said. It's reminds you of a 90s style fragrance. So yeah, when I think of the 90s, I think of, you know, citrus aquatics, woody, you know, slightly woody aquatics. That was really, you know, Aqua de Gio, L'Eau d'Issei, you know, CK1, you know, Escape. You know, that's where everything shifted from. 80s was all about powerhouse fougères, and then the 90s was all about citrus aquatics. And we got some great ones out of that, you know, that time frame. You know, Aqua de Gio being probably the best of all of them, or at least one of the best. So, but definitely some bangers out of that era. I think this is a good fragrance. I'm gonna, you know, close up here on this video, but I think it's a good fragrance. I think it's still wearable today. It's cheap. If you don't mind spending, you know, $30 or less on a fragrance and not loving it, just giving it away. If you can do that, I think it's blind buy worthy. I think it still holds up. So I'm going to read this last one from Timothy. This was the first I've tried from Penhaligon's. If you like barbershops, that's one I've, MFK, Masculine Plurial, is one I've been looking at maybe getting a sample of, seeing if I like it. I really love things like Tom Ford Beau de Jour, Zaharoff Signature Pour Homme, but also like some of the older ones like Pour Louis from Oscar de la Renta, Hugo Boss, I think it's Boss #1 or whatever. What else do I like in that fougere style? Giorgio Beverly Hills. Giorgio for Men is really good, and it's really cheap. I've been looking at the MFK that you said. I've also been looking at maybe, is it at the bar? No, I can't think of the name of it. It's the Invasion Barbar, the bottle with the Roman bust on it. Let me read Thor. Thor chimed in. He said, I usually use cologne to cover up when I take a dump at my girlfriend's house. I spray it in the toilet. Thor, there's this thing called Poopery that you can get, and you can just take that with you, spray that down in the commode, do your business, and then you don't have to waste your cologne. So we'll end on that note. Appreciate everybody that's watched, everybody that has commented, you know, like the video. Hey, subscribe to my channel. I jump on here and do things like this from time to time. I also review watches, guns, knives, guitars, hats, a lot of different things from men's fashion and accessories. The majority of my stuff is fragrances, though. Check out my other stuff. Till I see you down the road, I say God bless. Frag on, Frag fam.